right, so we're here in an alleyway right around the corner from our last shoot. I chose this alleyway for two reasons. The lighting is going to be perfect over here, and also the narrow walls are going to serve as awesome foreground subjects to blur out. We have the Canon f1.2 85mm and an 85mm Nikon 1.4. We're also going to put this up against the Nikon version of the Sigma 85-1.4. This is not the art version. Let's go ahead and take some pictures and see how they are side by side. We're looking for two things: sharpness and bokeh-licious. So here we are with the D800 85-1.4. I'm shooting an aperture priority as always, and I'm not going to choose the aperture of 1.4 because most people don't shoot at 1.4, and it's just not a viable aperture setting to be shooting at. It's just far too shallow. So I'm going to go ahead and shoot at 1.6, and we're going to compare these to the Nikon, Canon, and also Sigma. And go ahead and tilt upwards. There we go. That's perfect. Hold that. I'm going to go ahead and zoom in. Just tack sharp. Tack sharp. I love it. This is my baby right here, the 85-1.4 Nikon. Let's go ahead and compare this to the Canon now. I want to do the same pose, so you're going to tilt your face up. One more. These are just beautiful. Let's take a couple more. And then tilt your head up a little bit. Yeah, that's nice. That's nice. A couple more. Yeah, that's good. Hold that. Oh, that's good. Hold that. That's just perfect. Let's go ahead and try it. The Sigma on my Nikon D800. Surprisingly, the Sigma is pretty sharp. Again, we're going to have to pixel peep these once we're at the computer. As you can see, gear is not important. Honestly, if I can't see a clear difference between these lenses, you're good to go. Concentrate more on more important things like the pose, location, color, expression, all that stuff. No matter what you have, if you're not taking good pictures, gear is not your issue. You can clearly see. Up next, we're going to be comparing the different options we have within each manufacturer. For example, Nikon has a 1.4 version for the 85 and also the 1.8. I'm going to go ahead and take some shots. We're going to compare the sharpness and also the lens build quality. Over here we have the 85 1.8, and I'm going to go ahead and take a couple pictures at 1.8. Go ahead and lift your chin. I'm going to go ahead and zoom into the eyes. Right off the bat, the 85 1.8 at 1.8 looks pretty soft to me. We're going to go ahead and compare it to the 1.4 version and check that out. As for the actual quality of the lens, the 85 1.8 is $1,000 cheaper, and it also definitely does feel that way. The lens is plastic and it's small. But if you're on a budget, the 85 1.8 is an option. Let's go ahead and choose the 1.4 and put those images side by side with the 1.8. So here we have the 1.4. I'm going to dial that into aperture of 1.8 and compare those side by side. Can you take one slight step that way? There we go. I'm going to go ahead and zoom in and just analyze the eyes to see if it's as sharp or sharper than the 1.8. Let's take a couple more images and just compare those. The 85 1.4 definitely is sharper at 1.8 than the 85 1.8 is. Again, we're going to put these side by side and compare them in post-processing. As for the build quality for the 85 1.4, you could clearly see it's much larger and it doesn't have the plastic feel the 1.8 did. You could feel that how heavy the lens is. It has a couple more elements of glass, and also the aperture blades are 9 versus the 7 in the 1.8 version. This makes a difference in how it renders the bokeh and how soft those bokeh in the background and the foreground is. Up until now, we've been using lenses on a full frame camera. I want to go ahead and pull out a crop sensor and show you how it compares to a full frame camera. The problem is that 85 is going to be closer to 130 on a cropped sensor. So I went ahead and I took out my 50mm Sigma Art, which is comparable to 85 on a full frame camera. Take a small step that way. There we go. I'm producing pretty amazing results using just a cropped sensor camera and this 50mm Sigma Art. I want to go ahead and point out that if you're in the market and your budget only allows you to buy a cropped sensor camera, you're going to have to do just a little bit of research to find out which lens is equivalent to the 85mm on a full frame camera. To wrap things up, we've gone ahead and showed you the different lenses and camera options on the market right now. 85mm on a full frame camera works for me. That doesn't necessarily mean it's going to work for you. Find that camera and lens that speaks to you and turn that into your signature style. If your budget only allows you for a cropped sensor camera, don't let that hold you back. As you are able to see, we clearly are able to create amazing results. For the next section, we're going to go ahead and talk about settings and also my method of underexposing.